I know that feeling of overwhelm and procrastination can have this like snowball effect. So here's one method that it absolutely proven to work if you just do this. So that way you can stop feeling overwhelmed and pressured and like you're not getting anywhere. And the best thing to do is just quickly write down a list of the main challenges that you're facing, the biggest things, right? Prioritize them. And then look at those big things and break them down into subcategories of like, what's the most monotonous but smallest thing that you can do to help organize that challenge to make it easier for yourself, right? Just an example, like when you produce EDM, you make layers and layers of sound, stack them together, EQ it, all that stuff, right? And I had a bunch of different sounds that I did no longer need, and I was just trying stuff out, finding good like mid-range sounds and making sure all the sub and everything is, working well, so that way everything can be clear. And I had a whole bunch of sounds left over that I was like, oh man, these are still kind of good, but I'm like, I know I don't need them, and like I don't want to keep them for later, and I want to declutter the space. So decluttering is the number one thing to focus on, and what can you do that's the smallest and most easiest thing, and it usually just starts by getting rid of small things. I got rid of a bunch of MIDIs and sounds I don't need and I know I'm not going to use, and if I needed any else, I saved them for another track or whatever, put them in a template of their own or whatever, or a file. And you get my point though? Just declutter yourself and start with the smallest things, because it makes those bigger challenges so much easier. Because my main focus right now is making sure I have the right decibel range and LUFS ratio for my sub and my kick, and that way all the rest of the mid-range sounds can take a place and effect. So that way I have an anchor to what my loudness target will be for when I finish this track, because I like to mix loud and just have everything all preset. So that's the focus, is just declutter your space and things will go a lot smoother, because now that I have less layers, less things to look at, my focus is much more in the flow and more clear, and it's something I don't have to worry about now that it's done.